My name is Dorian Morris, and I am the project coordinator for the Jamaica Baptist Union Grow Castor Bean project. Today I want to tell you about castor bean in Jamaica, as well as how to grow and to care for your crop. Castor bean, also known as Ricinus communis, is a crop that has been grown for over 4,000 years. The Egyptians used to use it in their lamps, just as today we would use kerosene oil in our lamps. Castor bean is a crop that has over 23 strains that are grown locally, and of these 23 strains that are grown locally, there are 6 major varieties. The 6 major varieties are the Jamaica large, medium, and small, which are indigenous to the island of Jamaica, as well as the Zebo 1 and Zebo 2, which are Chinese varieties, and the Nordestina variety, which is known as the Brazilian variety. In terms of getting involved in castor as well as growing this crop, it is ideal for you to be aware of your climatic conditions so that you know exactly what variety to choose and ensure that it is grown under the most ideal circumstances. For the Zebo 1 and Zebo 2 varieties, they prefer conditions that are more dry, and so areas such as St. Elizabeth or South Manchester, where there is not a lot of high humidity, would be ideal for the growing of these 2 varieties and for them to do well. In terms of the local varieties, the Jamaica large, medium, and small, these grow well across all our geographic terrain, and so whether you are in a very dry area or you're in a very damp area, these crops will do well. The other thing about the local varieties is that they have adjusted to the climatic conditions and so are not bothered severely by pathogens such as the grey mold, as well as the powdery and downy mildew. In terms of the Nordestina variety, this variety also does very well across all our climatic conditions and was developed by Embrapa in Brazil. The challenge, however, with the Brazilian variety is that it is very susceptible to diseases such as the grey mold as well as the powdery and downy mildew. However, there is an advantage for the Nordestina variety in that it does not readily disperse, and even if there is dispersal, this is approximately 30%. So it means then that in growing the Nordestina variety, you can actually reap it at your convenience. In the case of the local varieties, there is heavy dispersal that is associated with it, and Bodle's research station has recorded crop loss of up to 50%, because as soon as the local varieties mature, they readily disperse. In terms of growing and caring for your crop, it is recommended that you plant at a planting distance, a minimum planting distance of 6 feet by 6 feet. That means 6 feet between plants and 6 feet between rows. This is good because it allows your plants enough space to breathe as well as to establish, and it reduces the possibilities of a subclimate developing, meaning an environment that is favorable for the growth of pathogens such as fungus and bacteria. What is also recommended is that when you are planting, you need to make a decision as to where you are planting and if the conditions are ideal. If you are uncertain of these areas that you can plant, then it is recommended that you get in touch with your local extension officer through RADA, and they will be better able to advise you. When planting, it is recommended that you can plant either by direct seeding or by the seedling method. Direct seeding simply means that you will be planting directly in soil. In this method, ensure that your seeds are not planted deeper than 1 to 1.5 inches. This is to ensure that there is no dormancy as it relates to your seeds. In terms of the seedling method, this is different because you will be planting in containers and then transplanting. For this method, it is recommended that you ensure that you use the correct size container. The recommended container for seed trays is a minimum of a 70-cell tray, and for seed bags, it is recommended that you use the bags of approximately 1 pound in size. If you are going to be using the seed tray method, it means that it allows your crop, your plants, the time of approximately 6 weeks of adjustment before you have to transplant to a larger container. While for the seed bags, you can allow them a maximum of 6 to 8 weeks in the bags, and then you transplant in the soil without disturbance to the roots. Please remember that the less disturbance you have to your roots, ideally it means that your growth patterns will not be staggered and that your plants will come at a faster rate. In terms of castor bean, it takes approximately 6 months to maturity, and it has a life cycle spanning of approximately 1 to 2.5 years, depending on your variety. In terms of crop care and management, it is recommended that you mulch in your field to ensure that you retain the soil moisture. Mulching is simply once you have weeded your area, that you allow the crop residue to stay. This will allow moisture to be retained in the soil, as well as when you mulch, it means that you are also putting in beneficial nutrients when this biological material decomposes. In terms of pests that may impact on your crop, we have seen instances where goats forage in the castor fields and actually eat the castor crop. And we have also seen instances where you may have cows that will go through and trample and break your branches and damage your crop. And so if you are planting in areas where there are pastures close by, or there are animals, that you ensure that you secure your crop by ensuring the appropriate borders and boundaries, or securing these animals so that they're not able to go into your field to cause damage. Also, it is ensured that you have an active and effective process of weed control. This will reduce the instances of having pests such as moths and butterflies in your fields, as well as a lodging area for other unwanted pests such as mongoose and rats that will debark your trees and also cause them to die prematurely. In terms of pathogens that may impact on your crop, it was already suggested that the crop is impacted by fungal infections such as the gray mold, as well as powdery and downy mildew. You have to ensure that your cultural practices, such as pruning especially, are done frequently, and whatever plant residue is removed from the field to ensure that you have a healthy plot that is free of disease. The best way to do this is ensure that you inspect your field as often as you can so that you can realize when there is an issue and deal with it pointedly. Castor is a crop that is not very labor intensive. However, it takes management and coordination. And so for anyone who wants to get involved in this industry, it is a golden opportunity for you to capitalize on. But please ensure that you get sufficient knowledge about this industry. To do so, you can get further information from the Jamaica Castor Industry Association that is housed at JAMPRO in New Kingston, and you can get in touch with them by calling 978-7755, or you can like and subscribe to this video, and once you have done so, you can send an email or a message and further information can be provided to you. It is a booming industry that is said to grow by 5% by 2020, and so it is a great opportunity for anyone who would like to embark on it. So please ensure that you are knowledgeable, and where you are uncertain, ask questions and get support so that you will be indeed victorious as well as very successful in getting this crop established and profitable.